You started like every other youngster. You bowled a bit of pace and you batted. And then at some point, maybe at 13, 14, thereabouts, switched to spin. What happened? Why did you make that change?
Look, I'm going to be honest. It was actually my father who convinced me to do that. But look, I think there was a little bit of hindsight with everything. I've had knee issues since I was 13 years old. And went through a lot of stages with my knees and eventually got diagnosed with osteochondritis at 15, 16 years old. But I think, my father saw it as, potentially when my knees were not too great as a 13-year-old, going through growing pains like everyone else does. I think he kind of saw it as, my actions maybe it's not the most economical and stuff like that, and that bowling spin would actually probably help me in that way. I think he always thought that I always saw myself as a batter who was going to, again, as a kid, you always think you're going to be this genuine all rounder, but when you obviously look back, you always know which disciplines you're going to be more favored to. So which one I enjoy more, and that has always been batting. So I always saw myself as more of a batter, and I'd like to be a batting all rounder. But if I'm going to be a batter who bowls a bit, kind of a thing like that, and therefore I need to make take care of my batting. And obviously the one, let's be honest, the one person in cricket who gets injured the most is someone who bowls fast. I'm not saying I was a fast bowler, but a seam bowler, they're the guys who tend to get injured the
Mhm.
most. And I think, my dad did it. He convinced me to change. I'd been messing around in the nets with him, for let's call it 3 or 4 months, bowling a bit of spin every now and then and seeing all this. And it actually came fairly natural to me. And then, yeah, he convinced me. And, after the first few games, I was very grateful I actually did do it because it came quite natural. I actually enjoyed it a lot more. I felt, again, with my skill set, I didn't really have much of a skill set. Let's call it as a bowler. I kind of ran in, bowled left arm and just tried to hit an area pretty much. Whereas I felt with the spinner, there was a lot more. I could flight the ball, I could bowl flatter, I could bowl from wider, I could do all these different things, which obviously for me in my mind that made a lot more sense to me and is a lot more exciting for me.